Welcome everyone back to the channel. My name is Mike, and today we're going to go over 5 tips for 20 strong Cloudspire. So the first one is going to be the one I think people are going to forget the most. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. Don't forget that at any time you can banish one die from your dice pool and grab a spire of your choice. Then you reshuffle that market stack and put it back down. And also don't forget that at any time that you gain a spire, you can immediately deploy it. So this is very helpful in the beginning of the game if you want to get that third spire out there in addition to the 2 that you start with. It's also very helpful in a case where you just had a bad turn, you lost a spire, maybe you lost 2 spires, you're looking at the enemies in the lanes, you're not sure how you're going to take them out with the firepower that you currently have. You don't want to endure whatever not having more firepower will do for you in the next turn or 2 or 3 as you try to attempt to refill your stocks out there on the board. This will let you do that. Just banish a die, reach into the stack, grab a spire of your choice, shovel that stack back up, and if you need to, depending on the timing of the round, go ahead and deploy it. This is a very helpful tip. I did it in the playthrough if you pay attention, and very early on. I think for the deck that I was using, it came in very handy. Depending on what spires you have in that market stack, it can really get your strategy going and get you firing on all cylinders right out of the gate. So don't forget to do that, especially if you have a strategy in mind. Don't wait for some baddies to be taken out to go into the market stack and hope you draw what you need. Just go in there for one die and get that thing rolling. The next one is going to be, don't forget to use your leader bonus. I know it seems probably pretty obvious to some people, but it's easy to overlook. So for example, in the playthrough I use Cram, and his bonus is to absorb a damage. Well, you can use that in many different ways. Not only just to keep a spire on the board, let him take it to the face instead, but you can also use it to help you recover dice if your recovery stat is low for whatever reason. In many of the practice games that I was playing, it came in handy. Just make sure you're using your leader bonuses to get those desired effects for you to keep you in the game, and it'll serve you in the long run. That'll bring us to our next one. That's going to involve the combo synergies between your spires that you get. So for example, the Horizon's Wrath will start with the Shadow Skiff spire. It has a cool ability on it where right after activation, right after the deployment happens, it can move positions with another spire. It goes really well with their gunboat spire that also needs to be moved around at times because it can't attack spires that it's adjacent to. So you can use the Shadow Skiff to move the gunboat around, and you can also use that Shadow Skiff to pull misses out of your exhausted area. So the way those two combine is a very cool synergy, and there's other ones in the game, obviously. I'll let you discover those for yourselves. But just keep in mind that those synergies exist. You can really lean into them with your strategy, with combinations of those and your leader ability, like I was talking about earlier. I think they're a lot of fun to play. Just keep an eye on them, especially for new players. They may not be readily available or readily noticeable. Apologies. You might look at them initially and just kind of overlook it, but it's a very strong thing in this game. So don't overlook those. Use them to great effect and enjoy them as much as you can. And if you come up with any cool ones yourself, go ahead and drop those in the comments for the rest of us. I'm definitely not the best player in the world and would definitely appreciate that. Also, all your mini heroes have cool abilities on them. They're all very helpful, very strong, obviously, or they wouldn't be considered mini heroes. But I think one of the things they do that's easy to overlook, and more importantly, it's easy to overlook the importance of it, is after you use that ability, it puts that mini hero on top of the deck, the deployment stack, which is very helpful. It will relieve the pressure coming off of that deck for one round. If you do back-to-back mini heroes, that's even stronger. Now you got 2 rounds to recover dice, remove stacks that are particularly problematic going on in the lanes. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 or 4 enemies in one stack. You know they're big hit point enemies. Maybe you want a couple turns to deal with them because you can only deal with one per turn anyway. Go ahead and maybe use your mini heroes then, as much as you would want to use them for the abilities themselves. Use them for the break that they're going to provide you off of that deployment stack. Just something to keep in mind as you go. There was a couple times in my practice games where that came up, and using it for that more than the ability on it itself probably led to the win just as much as the ability, if not more, kind of thing. I hope that makes sense to you. But that little relief that it gives to you, I think, is easily overlooked. And I want to point that out, especially if you're just getting into the game. I don't care what mini hero it is. It seems they all do that part of it. So even if the ability on it doesn't necessarily suit you well for the moment, that break probably will. And the last one's going to be, do not undervalue your misses. The misses in this game are how you're going to mitigate damage from the baddies as they come off that deployment stack and head their way towards your hero. It only takes 1 damage to take out a Spire. They don't have multiple hit points. The only way to defend a Spire is with a miss, is to remove 1 die with a miss on it. That's very, very strong. It kind of evens out the power need for a yellow versus a purple, for example, because it has that many more misses on it. Because you're going to need those to keep your Spires on the board. Otherwise, you'll be banishing dice to bring new Spires on, or trying to take out very specific, tougher enemies to get the reward to pull a market item out, and then it's luck of the draw kind of thing. And once you have your entire strategy set up and the Spires on the board where you want them, keeping them there is very important. So these misses are going to be huge. So don't forget that when you roll a miss, you may not want to re-roll that right away and looking for a hit or a crit unless you know for sure you're going to take out a baddie with it if you get that. And even then, is it really worth it? Because if you mess it up, you don't get that roll that you're looking for, you're probably going to lose that Spire, and it may ruin everything that you're doing. Your entire strategy may be affected by that. So keep that in mind, especially for new players. You haven't really played this. None of the other 20Strong systems really lean on that miss system very well. The backup plan in Too Many Bones is very nice for misses. This takes it up a notch. Not only is it a nice thing to have, it's a necessary thing to have to get you through those tougher spots with that 5 or 6 hit point baddie that's doing 3 damage to you. Don't forget, misses are your friend in this game. I want to thank everybody for being here today. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one.